Hey guys, Asap here and welcome to C++ tutorial number 38. In this tutorial we're going to be looking at something which concerns arrays and pointers, both combined into one, and you'll see what I mean by that in a minute. Let's go ahead and look at the C++ code. So when we create an array, we, how should I put this? We don't really create it ourselves. C++ sort of does some magic behind the scenes, okay? And so when you refer to something in an array, when you subscript it, you use two square brackets to, find this element in it, in a certain array, that's being disguised, okay? The subscript operator is, it's an operator, and all operators in C++ are actually essentially functions. And so, when we look into an array, we use the square brackets. What's happening in the square brackets function, so to speak? We're going to learn about operator overloading as well, which is what C++ does at its core. But while we use the square brackets, C++ actually uses something really cool about arrays, and you can tell what all this code is doing, so I'm going to go ahead and move on. Arrays, the name of the array, okay, is a pointer to the first element in that array, okay? So just quickly now, I'm going to explain. That's why when you refer to, if you have like an array of 5 integers or something like we have here, and then you subscript myints 5, okay, which would be the 6th element. When you only wanted the 5th, you forgot the 0 offset. That's why when you subscript myints 5, it basically allows you to do that. It doesn't throw an error, because myints 5 is just saying, is doing exactly what this is. It's dereferencing, and then between brackets, myints, and then plus whatever values between these subscript, between the two square brackets. So when you refer to myints 5, what's going on behind the scenes is actually something that looks like this, myints plus 5, okay? And here you can see we're dereferencing what's inside these brackets, okay? Now remember last time how I mentioned you should always put something like this between brackets so it doesn't disturb. Don't confuse these two. The fact that the asterisk or the dereference operator is outside the brackets in this above one is very important. Here we're just protecting it from any other stuff that might interfere. But here we're actually subscripting the brackets as a whole, okay? So, if we put this outside, it wouldn't matter hugely, because it would still do the same thing. But if you're just trying to protect it, always put the whole thing in between. If you want to refer to an expression, so if you want to work something out before you then dereference that pointer, you want to put the pointer outside the brackets, okay? So, simply put, in this tutorial, all we actually do is create an array, assign values to that of 1 through 5, output it using the square brackets, and then we output it just by dereferencing. So the way we do this, by dereferencing the array name, is simply adding on to myints, which is, remember, the pointer to the first element in that array. We add on the value of I in this for loop. So in the first loop, we'll be dereferencing myints plus 0, which will be the first element. Next loop will be referencing myints plus 1. And now, I know if we have a memory address, like, if we have something like this, 1 equals 50, okay, and then we have a pointer to an integer, myint p, or I'll put p myint 1 equals, and myint 1. Okay, and then we output this, p myint 1, that's what I wanted, myint 1, okay, p myint 1, and then, or actually, we'll just do it on the same line, and then we output p, we want to No wait, that's good actually. Yeah, that's good. And then we output p myint 1 plus 1. Okay, now let's just run this quickly and we'll only look at the last thing that happens. Okay, here you can see 00, we're looking at the memory addresses now. 0028FA78, 0028FA7C, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Wait, 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay, actually maybe that is okay. Sorry, I was just counting in hexadecimal there. That's 10, maybe. I'm not entirely sure. But what I was gonna say, if I was right, was that normally when we add 1 to the value here, it would just add 1 to the memory address, as opposed to when we add amounts to the myints array, it will add on the number of bytes that an integer would normally take up, as opposed to just shifting it along by 1 bit. Okay, because getting down into the dirty stuff, basically, when you have an integer, it takes up, I think it's 4 bits, or is it 8 bits? I'm not sure. I know 8 bits it's probably a byte, isn't it? Is it? It's either 4 bits, or it's 4 bytes, or it's 8 bits, or it's 8 bytes. I can't remember entirely, but it's one of the two. Basic. Maybe it's 4 bytes. I don't know, but basically, the whole point is, if you just moved, if you looked at the memory address of a certain integer, and then you added 1 to it, what you might expect is just to shift along by 1 bit, which would mean you would still be inside the original integer, because integers take up at least, and again I'm kind of guessing here, 4 bytes. I'm gonna go with bytes. Integers take up at least 4 bytes. So if you have there's 8 bits in a byte, right? So if you have 8 times 4, 32 bits, and then that's your one integer, 32 bits, and then you move along, so you've just got all but 1 bit of the original integer. That wouldn't really work. So when you add, let's say 1, you're not moving along just 1 bit, you're moving along a whole nother 32 bits. So, in other words, the size of an integer, you're moving along. That's what you're doing. And it looks like that's what this is doing as well, actually. So what I was gonna say is kind of pointless now, so don't worry about it. But yeah, oops. Let's get rid of this quickly. But the ultimate thing is, if we run this, you can see here we've created it, and then we output it in 2 different ways, and the output is exactly the same no matter how we do it. So that's just showing you that array names are pointers to the first element in an array, which can come useful, because in C++ you can't really return an array properly. You have to return like pointers and to the first element in that array, and then you could use this method, although actually when you return pointers to something, you can then subscript to that pointer, because remember, an array name is just a pointer to the first element in the array. So really, myints5, what's behind this is when you create the array, it says something like int myints point to first or something equals, and then it would do like this, really, but we won't get into that right now. But so you can use actually pointers like you would use arrays when you return them from functions. But that's for another tutorial. For now, guys, over and out.